This is Arif Halaby on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Hi, welcome back to the show, Total Financial Solutions. Jeff Gerard, I'm Arif Halaby. We're talking about your family's finances. What do you do? What are the first steps when you lay the foundation of trying to save for your retirement, your kids' college? Where does that fit in to emergency accounts, etc.? It usually breaks down, as we started the top of the hour, with your retirement account, your 401k, sometimes that's called a 403b, depending on where you work. And there is a matching program, and often that's present with these accounts, which means this. In those accounts, you put down some money, but so does your employer. They do a matching, and usually it's half, we've seen it 50% of 6. Now, some of your employers, and there's some big ones out there, that will do dollar for dollar. And what that means is every dollar you put in, they put in $1, not 50 cents, the whole dollar, meaning up to a certain percentage of your salary, 5%, 6%, whatever you earn per year or per month is how they do it. They put in, if you put in $1, they put in up to the limit that they max, that's maximum. That's pretty exciting. Now, you can put in more money, but you're not going to get any more matching up to whatever they've agreed to. All right. Then we talked about an emergency account, how important that is to set aside anywhere between 6 months if you're an employee, 12 months if you're an employee, if you're self-employed, like a contractor or realtor, et cetera. Somebody whose income can go up and down, and it's really contingent upon you working. I'd like to see at least a year of your expenses set aside for the future. Okay, now, you've done all of those things. You're on track. You still have a little money left over. Where do you go next?
Well, outside of that match on the emergency account, we want to start looking at some individual programs. Now, remember, when you put money into your employer plan, it's kind of locked in. Not only is it a retirement account earmarked for, your retirement days and really anything after age 55 in some cases or 60 years old. What you want to do is have a place where you can put money for retirement also, but have a little bit more control. It's called an IRA. It stands for Individual Retirement Account. You've heard us talk about them, but there are two different types. There's a pre-tax one that you put the money in and you don't pay tax on that, kind of like the plan at work. But there's also something called a Roth, R-O-T-H, a Roth IRA, which gives you the ability to put money in. You don't get the tax break today by putting it in. It's just like the $10 or $20 or $100 in your purse or pocket. It's just like putting it in a savings account at the bank. They don't give you any tax inducement. But that Roth IRA stays tax deferred. If you earn interest inside of that, which we hope you do, any earnings inside, you're not paying tax on those. And when you take the money out, if you do it the right way, you won't pay tax on any of the money you take out, whether that's your money or the money you've earned inside of it.
Yeah, under current tax law, guys, the dollars that you've put into your Roth IRA and the interest, when you pull it out at age 59 and a half, you're not paying any income tax on that money, regardless of where you live. That's important. Now, why did I say under current tax law? Because last year, President Obama submitted a budget proposal that said, we're now going to begin to tax your Roth IRA distributions. Now, that died pretty quick because the Republican Congress said, we're not going to do that. Just a couple of weeks ago, he said, okay, well, that didn't work. So he decided he's going to tax your college plans, your 529 plans, which is, we'll get to in a couple of seconds here. And he wants to tax those now going forward. That died again, and, everybody fought it. And so, again, it would be great if we were thinking on the same page, but apparently this administration and most Americans are kind of out of touch a bit when it comes to the economic stuff.
Incredible.
So they tried that, and then about a week ago he canceled and says, never mind, I'm going to pull that idea from this budget. Instead, he put a budget that said he's going to wants to spend $500 billion more than we bring in. But hey, it's a discount, or if you listen to certain news stations, it's incredible to me. Imagine this for a minute. If you earn $100,000 a year, you and your family, you earn $100,000 a year, and last year you were spending $150,000. You were upside down by $50,000. So you have to make a decision. Either we should stop spending or earn more money or get a second or a third job. You got to do something. And so then this year you say, I got a planned family. We're not going to spend $150. We're going to spend $130. And you think that you should get credit and everybody should clap and your family should give you a big hug. You're like, no. You're still messed up, folks. You're still spending more than you're bringing in. So in the last 6-7 years, we've been spending anywhere between $700 billion and $1.1 trillion more than we have brought in as a country in taxes and economic growth. I share that with you because if we keep going, and it sounds like we will because we have 2 years left of the president, if we keep going on this track, we will be somewhere shy, but just right around $20 trillion upside down. When this president took office, we were about 4 to 6 trillion, depending on how you did the math. I love it because you always blame somebody else, right? I love it. Oh, it was his fault. Oh, it was this guy. Oh, it's these people. After a while, you have to own it. There's just like, you kind of look silly when you're trying to blame everybody else for things. At the beginning, maybe people will give you a pass. So this current budget, there are 20 new taxes that are being proposed. And unfortunately, here in Santa Clarita, if you are middle class, you're earning $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a year, maybe or more, you are the one that will be hit by these taxes, by a big part of these taxes. So on a future show, we're going to cover it. Right now, the Congress and the president are debating them. They're going back and forth as to which ones will be acceptable and which ones won't be. That will lay down the foundation. Right now, it's still talk. We'll come back to you with some of those results. Right now, it looks like the Roth IRA and the 529 are off the table, whether or not they continue to stay off the table or they're put in as bargaining chips. You know, that you don't realize, folks, this is your money. The politicians in Washington and the president don't have to work through Obamacare. Did you know that? They have their own health insurance. So tough luck. So they pass all these. Oh, by the way, they don't have Social Security either. They have their own pension system. They opted out. Isn't that nice? They pass all these rules that don't even have to apply to them. So I want you to know the advice that we're giving you, if you will, which is quite general, listening to a radio show, right? This is information that can change. We don't control Washington. We're giving it to you under today. And as long as there's nothing wacky coming out of Washington, which is kind of hard to imagine, then things will stay the same. But under the current law, this is the way it's broken down. All right, Jeff.
Well, I just think that everything you're saying is so relevant. I don't think people really understand the magnitude of it. Everybody talks about, being diversified. Do you understand that you have to be diversified from a tax perspective as well?
Yeah.
Every dollar you put into your employer-sponsored plan. Now, I don't care how the fees are arranged or what investment choices you have. I'm talking about just the taxability of the dollars. Every dollar you put in, every dollar that you earn is subject to tax when it comes out. Now, you may be in a bracket where it's very little, but with the amount of money that we spend as a country, do we think taxes are going up or they're going down? Or that they'll be the same in 20, 30, 40 years when you retire.
Yeah.
You know, the trend has been that we spend more, they're going to tax us more, and they're going to find a way to do it. Now, it may not impede on our college savings or Roth IRAs, but under this current law, I would put as many dollars as you can on the other side of the tax bracket world, or the taxable world, and say, I'm out of Uncle Sam's pocket. I'm not in partnership with these dollars with Uncle Sam. The other one's okay, great. And then you have a healthy mix. And look, there's no one place, there's no one account or one plan that's going to change your life. But as many dollars as you can put to the side that won't be taxed later, I think that's probably one of the best bets you can make.
Yeah, often they're talking about grandfathering these accounts, saying, now moving forward, these accounts will be subject to tax. But look, the reason that you put money in things like the college savings plan, the 529 or Roth IRA, is because of tax savings. It's odd that the politicians in Washington will assume that when they change the reason for people to do it, that you'll just continue to do it under the same frequency. It doesn't. Chances are pretty good you probably won't. You'll find another place to put the money or something else to do with it, which ruins everything for their formula, and hence more debt. Right? It's silly. So I just want you to know the reason that we're at $18 trillion in debt, there's all sorts of people to blame. Don't think it's one party or one person.
And years ago, let me just jump in real quick. Years ago, we didn't see this, but now today, in the last couple of years, financial companies, financial institutions that hold your IRA are now reporting something called a fair market value letter. They have a letter that goes out to you that says, your account is valued at X. Okay, well, great. Thanks for telling me yesterday's news. I can go online. No. They're not doing that for you. They're doing that so that we know as a country how much we have in tax-deferred dollars are going to be part of repaying some of that debt. That's just my conjecture. But
look, in the history,
it's weird.
In the history of retirement accounts, you have to know that the only time your financial institution reported the balance of its accounts was when you made a contribution. How much did you contribute? Okay, so they never reported the balance. How much did you contribute? And when you reached age 70 and a half, so the year following the year, you reach age 70 and a half, they have to report the balance. About 3 or 4 years ago, President Obama said, we want to know how much is in your account now because we think that $3 million is kind of enough. He came up with that number. No joke. It was kind of interesting. I don't know why $3 million, why not 4 or 10 or 1 but he said, we think $3 million is enough. You shouldn't be able to accumulate more than that in your retirement account. Now, look, for most of us, $3 million would be nice. That'd be nice. That's an amazing goal. But it's always interesting that you have to single out a group of people because they have money, they were successful, they sacrificed, they didn't spend it all, right? A lot of us have made dumb choices and good choices. So we're going to punish the good choices people, and right? It doesn't make sense, but that's what they did. And he quickly took that off the table, but it's interesting that they float it out there and they bring it back. They float it out and bring it back just to see what gains traction. But here's why that's important. Because today, every financial institution, every year, whether you're 40, 50, 60, it doesn't matter, has to report the balance every year of your retirement accounts. That's amazing because why? Right? Why? I don't know. Maybe for seizure, maybe for taxation, maybe you're their retirement account. I don't know. But something weird is happening, and I want you to be careful, be informed, and pay attention to what's going on. Because the next place when we come back is where I think you're going to have the best bet when we come back. Total Financial Solutions, Save for Money Hour. I'm Arif, Halaby on AM 1220 KHTS.
Hey, welcome back to the program. Total Financial Solutions, Save for Money Hour. I'm Jeff Gerard, joined handsomely by Arif Halaby. We're talking about your family's finances today, continuing with some of the places you can really get some traction out of your savings. Certainly you can save anywhere you like, but I think if you do it in a systematic fashion, you'll find that you're not dipping into dollars that weren't meant for short-term spending. Meaning, if you're putting your money in, all in your money into your 401k at work, and you think, oh, well, that kind of doubles as my emergency account because I can go borrow up to 50% anytime I want. Well, yeah. I mean, is that really the idea here? Are we supposed to take our dollars that are meant for 20 and 30 years from now and using them today? I don't know that it's a smart thing.
I think you should be able to do anything you want. I think that's part of the freedom. That's part of the choices of what you do with your financial life. But you also should bear the consequences. It shouldn't be a bailout like we did to the banks and the big financial companies, and just like people. If you make financial choices and you win big, great, you did it. But if you decided that your 401k or your IRAs, you're going to cash in every few years, or you're going to borrow money and not pay it back and default and all that crazy stuff, then that's up to you. I think we as a society or as a financial industry should provide you with education. I do believe that in the world of financial education, or simply any education, I mean, you could learn a language now. I mean, you could do anything on the internet. And those things on our hips and our purses or pockets, those devices called a cell phone, have access to every kind of piece of information out there. So you should be responsible for your own money, your own stuff. That's your thing. But you've got to understand that it's not a savings account. It just isn't your place to put money and take it out 2, 6 months, a year later. People do it, and if it's worst case scenario, if life or death or homeless or not, then fine. And then you have to take it out. It's what you have to do.
But we're amazed at what people call emergencies anymore, huh?
Yeah, I was going to say, a sale at the mall is not an emergency, right? You just have to know that financially, when you decide to save for your children's college, it is about $100 a month. That's kind of the number. Sometimes $200, sometimes $500. If the day your children are born and you want to put in $250 a month, and you just save that $250 a month until they go into the university, you should have enough to pay for a state local university. A couple of years at community college, and then a state university, and then maybe there'll be money left over for some graduate stuff, maybe. But that is about the numbers. If you want to save for a private university, then that number is $500 a month. That's kind of the rule of thumb. $500 a month. Put that in your children's college fund. Let that grow, hopefully in a very low fee account, so you're not paying a lot of fees. Then when you're ready to have your children go off to college, you should be able to afford a private college within reason. Now, for most people, you go, whoa, Arif, did you just say $500 a month? Yes, 500. Now, if you can't do that, then do not promise your cute little 3-year-old that she can go to USC, or that your 5-year-old college kid, 5-year-old son, or you say, listen, I'll pay for your college. I don't care where you get in. You just get good grades and you stay out of trouble, and I'll pay for your You can't promise that, you guys. How many times have we had 56-year-old people, men and women, come into my office with 2 kids going to college within a year or 2 of each other, and they say, but I promised I would pay for any college that they went into. Well, that's nice, but you didn't save for that. Well, I don't care. We're going to borrow. We're going to sell the rental property. We're going to take money out of our retirement account. I know I'm going to get hit with a 50% penalty. I don't care. Really? Is that the best financial move for you? Maybe, but probably not. So I don't want you to put yourself into a financial bind where your only choice is the worst financial choice that you would have made 20 years earlier had I sat you down and give you, here's 10 choices. Here's the worst one. You never want to make this, and here's the best. But by actions, you have set yourself up to where the time when the children, when your young people, your young adults, if you will, get into the university or college of your choice or their choice, and you don't have the funds to pay for. I know, because that happened to me. I was the kid. Hey, son, go to school, get good grades, and stay out of trouble, and we'll pay for your college. Oh, great. Hey, Dad, I got accepted to UCLA. Great. Hey, Dad, I need $2,400. We don't have $2,400. I go, what? I got straight A's in many semesters, maybe a B now and again. Stayed out of trouble. I took AP courses. Dad, Mom. And he said, don't worry, son. We're going to take a second mortgage on the house. We can do that. That's not a problem. And I remember the day before my parents were arguing about $20, I think it was, something small. Like, where'd that money go? I don't know. I gave it to you. And I thought, well, Dad, never mind. Who wanted to go to UC? I didn't want. I was just telling you that I got accepted, and I'm going to the community college, so don't worry. I'll go to UCLA later, which I did. I went and paid for myself. But, who? Really, Dad? No, don't worry about it. It was no, really, Arif, we can take care of it. Nah, you know what? Never mind. That was it. They provided a place for me to live. They paid for my food at home, I think my car insurance for a while. But the point is, sometimes those tough experiences, which was me having 2 and 3 jobs, part-time jobs, 2 days a week, some of them, and working my way through school, working every summer, 40 hours a week in many cases, more than that because I was off, right? Those kinds of things, they make your young people who they are. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about those 2 different college options, the most common, if you will, and what you can do to prepare. Your goal, your responsibility is not, you can change it any way you want. I'm telling you from somebody in their late 40s, if you will, with 3 children, 2 of them at college. Your responsibility is not to pay 100% of their college tuition. Not anymore. The rules changed. The moment the federal government got into the student loan business is the moment the cost of college went through the roof. It didn't used to be this. It was always a steady number. It went up a little bit with the inflation. But today, it has gone up exponentially for 20 years. It is incredible, the cost of college. So how can you handle it? What can you do? I will give you some options from my perspective with my co-host, Jeff Gerard, when we come back on Total Financial Solutions, Save for Money Hour. We'll be right back. Hi, welcome back to the show, Total Financial Solutions, Save for Money Hour. Arif, Halaby, and Jeff Girard. Okay, where do you put your money for your children's college? What are the different options out there? You heard us mention the 529 and 401k and 403bs, and what are all of those? All those numbers is where it's found in the IRS code. I don't want you to think it's anything fancy or it means something, that's mysterious. If you go to section 529 in the IRS code, it says if you put money away for your children's college, it's post-tax money, like the $20 in your purse or your pocket, goes into that account. It can earn interest, tax-free. When you pull it out, the money that you had put in plus the interest is tax-free. It acts kind of like a Roth IRA in that regard. As long as the money that you pull out is used for higher education, post-high school, right? So it could be computer, books, tuition, room and board, travel abroad programs. It could be accelerated courses, immersion courses in Central America to learn Spanish, or in China to learn Chinese. It could be a lot of things that are part and parcel to the higher education. I'm kind of course, paraphrasing the law, but the idea is it's for post-high school. And if, hopefully, you've put in money from when the children were young and it has grown, you can take out those dollars and it's a higher number, and it allows you to pay for college tax-free for those kids. Okay. Now, why is that an important component? Because, look, the cost of college has gone up significantly. Now, if you are not like most of us that could afford $500 per kid under that little plan I just gave you, right? The moment a child is born, you put away a friend of mine has done that. He's wealthy and successful, and he has put away, he's now at 4 children each, and he puts in $500 each per month for the kids, ages from about 9 down to just born recently. And he has done that religiously since the 9-year-old was born. So he expects to have a significant amount of money, and hopefully will, when his children go off to college. They will have options. They'll have choices. Dad, I want to go over here. Go. Oh, Dad, I want to go to the military. No problem. If there's money left over because the children get scholarships or they go to less expensive schools or the account happens to have grown to something amazing, then the dollars that are left behind reportedly can go to your siblings, the younger children. And so you can have like a revolving scholarship. It goes down to the next kids. And if there's money left over, you can use that for the other children or grandchildren for that matter. Those are important components because that particular law allows you to save money. And if it is not used by all of the kids and you're not going to leave it to the grandkids, then you can still pull it out for your retirement. It just gets treated like a taxable account, if you will, a non-deductible IRA. Don't worry about those details. Just know that in this account, if you save money for your children's college, the interest and the money that you've put in when you pull it out is tax-free. Simple, right? That's one option. The other is an option called an UGMA, Uniform Gift to Minors Account, or ACT, or UTMA, Uniform Trust to Minors Account. UTMA or UGMA, that's just the acronym. It means this: your bank account over there at Bank X or Bank Y, those dollars belong to your kids. If at 18 years old and 18 minutes they say, I'm not going to college, but thank you, and all of the money now belongs to them. You can't go in when your 18-year-old is now 18, when your kid is 18, and say, you know what, they decided to travel around the world and visit butterfly farms. No problem, but the dollars belong to the kids. You can't take the money out. So you can have those accounts, but those UGMA accounts usually are like birthday money, Christmas money, Hanukkah money, dollars that go into those accounts that are theirs, really, truly theirs.
And basically, when they reach the age of majority, which is 18 here in the States, we're going to see that they can use those dollars for whatever they want, even if they don't want to use it for college, like Arif's saying. The nice part about college savings, you can put it in a number of places, but it's the way the IRS looks at it is where you kind of see some of those benefits. Now, those UGMA accounts, that's kind of like, those dollars, they're just going to park there, and we hope that they use it for college, but they might use it for something else, buying a car or gosh knows whatever else they do with it. But the 529, you really have to know that when you put those dollars in, those are set aside for college, and you're not going to see those going anywhere else because there are taxes and penalties that can be incurred if you don't use them for qualified expenses for higher learning, like Arif said. So just kind of keep that in mind.
Yeah, they work very nicely in conjunction with the other accounts, but just when you meet with your financial advisor and your CPA, and I encourage everybody to do that during the planning process, don't just wait until 10 minutes before they go off to college and say, did I do it right? You want to meet with these people early on and see if what you're doing is appropriate for your situation. You don't want to make big mistakes where later on there are enormous mistakes and they can't be undone. We have seen it time and again where people come to us with accounts where they have paid penalties and they've paid unnecessary taxes, and we're left trying to fix the difference of what's going on. So keep in mind that there are some things that you can do along the way, but meeting with your professionals, your tax preparers, your CPAs, your financial advisors, very important in that process. All right. Thanks for joining us. I want you to do this. Go to hometownstation.com, click on Total Financial Solutions. That's us. Send me an email if you have a question or a comment. We'd love to hear from you. Also, folks, KHTS has gone mobile, so you can go to the App Store, pull up the app, and listen to KHTS on the go. Thanks for listening. Arif, Halaby, Gerard on AM 1220 KHTS.